Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 69 of Six Figure Live. My name is Ben Hartley with Style and Straight Creative and Six Figure Photography, and today is Q&A Friday. It's probably my favorite episode to do every single week with you guys because it just gives me a chance to really interact back and forth with you guys in an amazing way. So let me get everything pulled up here on my phone. I just had a couple of internet issues, and so hopefully I'll get your comments in here so I can field questions. Look, it's Friday and the weather's amazing here in Ohio. The leaves are starting to change. So hopefully, if you're in the Midwest, you're shooting a wedding tomorrow. Awesome. What's up, you guys? Thanks so much for joining. Okay, cool. We are ready to go. Victoria, what's up? Jacob, what's up? I'm going to clip this on here to my computer so I can see you guys as comments come in. Yes. Okay, rad. You guys, how is it going? How's everyone doing? Look, please leave comments, leave little thumbs up, hearts. I need some sort of interaction from you guys, especially today, Q&A Friday. I need questions. I have a number of questions that have already come directly to my email or to my personal messages, and so we're going to start with fielding those. But I'd love to interact and get some live questions from you guys as well. Hey, if this is your first time watching Six Figure Live, thanks so much for joining. The main, honestly, I came into doing these whole live videos with all kinds of objectives, and it's changed over time. And ultimately, the main goal now is I just love the interaction. That's why I do this. You know, I get a chance very rarely to meet you guys face to face and to shake hands and actually have a dialogue with you guys. And that's at, conferences and it's at workshops. But other than that, it's just email. And email is, I freaking hate email in terms of relationship, in terms of actually connecting with people. And so this to me is an opportunity for us to actually get to know each other just a little bit better in some way, shape, or form. And so the only way that happens, though, you guys, is if you actually talk to me. So keep it up. I'm going to keep clipping my new phone here. Keeps it's actually not a new phone, but I just put the new iOS 10 on it, and I don't think I like it. It's so weird. I'm not a fan of it. I don't get to swipe anymore. I just have to press a button. It really hurts my brain, you guys. It really does. I know all the Android people are freaking out, and they're all ready to start typing you should just get an Android phone. That new Google phone looks sweet. Okay, so here you go. Thanks for listening to my rants here for a minute. We're gonna hop over to the intro video. Pray the audio works. And then we're going to start this thing. So here we go, you guys. Six Figure Live, episode 69, Q&A Friday. Let's do this thing. Yes, it worked. I love when a plan comes together. All right, you guys, thank you so much for joining. We're going to jump right in and start fielding some questions. I had one question that just came directly to my inbox here a couple minutes before starting. Someone was saying hey, I might not be able to catch it live. I know today's Q&A Friday. Can you answer this question for me? And so I would love to get a chance to answer it. So this is the question. This comes from Mackenzie. Mackenzie just asked me, she's a videographer, and so she was saying that this last year they had some second videographers and assistants that they had worked with, that they had hired, and it seemed like not the greatest move in terms of the people that they brought on. And she said, look, they were great people, but they didn't have passion, they didn't have the ability to adapt to the changing conditions at a wedding. And so any advice for hiring a second shooter, this goes for videographers and photographers, by the way. So any advice for hiring a second shooter or assistants? For starters, to give context to this, we have 3 head shooters here at Style and Straight Creative, and then we have a pool of second shooters that we work with. We've probably hired more than a dozen second shooters over the course of our career together across the 3 of us, and then any number of assistants have come along the way. Apart from that, just hiring on full-time head shooters is an entirely other different process. And then as well, specifically to videographers, hiring head videographers, second videographers, assistants every weekend. So these are decisions that we are making all the time. And I know the consequence too. When you have that dud second photographer or second videographer, or even that dud assistant, how much can really affect the day. And so let me start by talking about a couple of instances of things that I've done wrong in the past to help answer this question. And so the first thing I've done wrong is hire entirely based off of their work. Like, this is he's just really freaking talented. They're really freaking good. But the thing about being really freaking good is it doesn't matter how amazing you are. It doesn't matter how talented you are. It doesn't give you the right to be an asshole. Right. And I was so fixated on the quality of their work that I wasn't paying enough attention to their ability to relate to people, like IQ, emotional intelligence. And it ended up getting me in a really rough situation. This was a head shooter, by the way. And so anyhow, that was a poor move, is prioritizing simply the quality of their work over their emotional intelligence and their ability to relate to other people. And so that'd be one. And it sounds like you were saying like they were really great people, but they lacked the ability to adapt and to hustle on a wedding day when things are changing, when things get crazy. So I think another mistake that I've made, and I'll get to answer your question, but another mistake I made was I brought on someone that wedding days are hard, you guys, right? Like it doesn't matter how crazy talented you are and how amazing your client is. Wedding days are just hard. Like they're just really draining. It's a lot of work on your feet. Everything's always changing, and it's really taxing on you emotionally. And so there was a time that I had hired an assistant that I actually had to let go after 2 events, because this assistant, they worked really hard. They worked really hard, and they actually knew what they were doing, and they were a good person. But man, there was something that I just like if I can't look over at the person standing next to me on that day and just share a moment of just laughter with them and just goof off for a minute and smile together and look at each other and be like, yeah, we're in the middle of this. Yeah, we are. Okay, let's do this thing. We need to have some sort of camaraderie and enjoyment. And this particular assistant was actually putting more kind of just stress on me. They were melting down and I couldn't handle it. I need someone that I can really enjoy and laugh with and have a good time with on the day. And so I had to let them go. So there's 2 things that I really look for. And this is not for head shooters, by the way. Head shooters, it's a much deeper question. Head shooters, there's so many things to be looking for if you're trying to bring on someone in that capacity. But for a second shooter and assistant, number 1, more than anything else, I'm looking for EQ. EQ, not IQ. I don't care if you know about your lighting setups. I don't care if you know how to use off-camera lighting or you have a 135 f2 or whatever it is. Can you relate to people? Can you adapt to changing situations? When you're talking about the changing situations on a wedding day, it's not just the timeline gets cut short and you don't have to bust your ass. It's like the bride just melted down because someone stepped on her veil. How do you actually comfort and help in that situation, and the ability to know when to say something and when to not. And so it's all about EQ, man. This is just, especially now, in 2016, information, dude, you guys, it's never been a worse time to be smart. I'm sorry. Intelligence is, it's something that now it's this, all day. I can, who cares if you know anything about anything? So do I, because I can just pull it up right here. What actually matters in 2016 is your ability to adapt to an emotional exchange, to an emotional situation, to actually relate to another human being in a way that this can't tell you how to do, right? And so it's all about that. And then the second thing is, I brought this up the other day about how to get brought on as a second shooter. It's hustle. My assistants, my second shooters, they have to be willing to sweat. They have to be willing to work their ass off, you guys. And so it's those 2 things. And honestly, it's hard to know those 2 things if you don't actually know the person until you get into a situation. And what I would encourage you to do is manage that expectation. And so before hiring someone on for the entire year, bring them on to an engagement session, bring them on to shoot, and let them know this is trial time, right? This is the time that this might let them know this might not work out. You know what I mean? And we'll see how it goes, and we'll evaluate it after that. And I think as long as you're upfront with that and you manage that expectation and you say, look, it's just not going to work out because of X, Y, Z, best of luck. They should understand. I mean, yeah, it's going to suck. They're not going to like it, but the reality is they're reflecting your brand. So great question, Mackenzie. Thank you so much for asking. Okay, cool. Let's keep moving down the road. Jason, what's up, man? Emily's here. You guys, thanks so much for joining. By the way, the reason that I do Q&A Fridays, we get questions all the time coming to the inbox, and I used to just respond to that question in an email, but it would only go to Mackenzie. It would only go to like Jason. This is a chance that I think that there's value to be offered to anyone who's willing to listen, and so that's why we're doing it. Jason, what's up, dude? You say we're past the age of knowing. We are in the age of information. The knowledge of the world is in our pocket. You nailed it, man. Amen. Okay, cool. Let's keep going on. Let's talk about another one here. This is interesting. So this person wrote to me, and it was a very succinct email, by the way. This is the email that I got. It just simply said like, "Hey, Ben, what's up? I honestly have no idea how to get clients." And so there's a couple ways that we can interpret this, and you don't know how to get paying clients, you don't know how to get wedding clients, you're a wedding photographer and you don't know how to get boudoir clients. I'm going to interpret it the way of like, you are just starting out and have no idea of how to get someone in front of your camera. That's the way I'm going to address this question, because there wasn't any other information really given. And so that's what we're going to do. So great question, by the way. When you're very first starting out, you just picked up a camera, you've seen this whole photography thing. You think that you could do it. You enjoy the process of creating pictures, but you just don't have an actual business yet. You don't have a paying client. You don't have any work to show for yourself. Step one is literally pick up your phone, go on Facebook, get into your email, and call, email, text, Facebook message every single friend, family member, acquaintance that you know, and just like put it on blast. Like ask them, like, would you like to be in a photography session with me? Like just ask them that. Like ask. Making like an announcement at your church, like blast it on your social feed. But it literally comes down to when it's day one, square one, it's who's in your circle. And it's putting yourself out there to actually ask. And you're not asking for paid gigs right now. Like you're just literally asking like, hey, like come over and let's go hang out in a field and let's take pictures together at golden hour. Sound good? We'll go get dinner afterwards and catch up and hear about your kids or whatever, how you're doing in high school. I don't care. But that's step one. Like step one for business is look at who is immediately in your inner circle or your second and third tertiary kind of circles, and put yourself out there. Be willing to put yourself out there. And so that'd be my encouragement is do that. And here's the next thing, by the way. This is some encouragement that I have, and I think that this only works for certain people. Rather than saying, hey, I'm thinking about doing this photography thing, to your family members or whatever. Like just say like, hey, I already did it. Like, hey, I've made a business. I'm doing this thing, and I want to shoot. Would you like to come? And so I would just announce it in that way. Announce it with a little bit more confidence. Say, I'm going to do this thing. Who's willing to, or who would like to be a part of a photography session with me? I think when you say like, hey, I'm thinking about it, you open yourself up to receive everyone else's opinion and everyone else's naysaying. Like, hey, I'm thinking about doing this. And then you're going to get your mom's going to be like, oh, really? Art, like photography, that's cute. Like, and you don't need that shit, right? You don't need that. It's to say like, hey, folks, I've already done this. This is what's happening right now. Just don't even open yourself up to the naysayers out there. Keep moving forward. Okay, cool. Hey, what's up, Christy? Chelsea. Hey, guys. Chelsea says, when you research your brides, where is your starting point to search the venue in your area when you research your brides? So I'm curious, when you say when you research your brides, are you talking about when I'm researching, like if a lead comes in and I'm wanting to see if I want to book them, or when I actually have a booked client and I'm trying to do research for the wedding day? Or are you talking about identifying your target audience, your target market, your ideal client? Be a little bit more specific for me, Chrissy, so I know how to better answer that question for you. Using Facebook and Google to search for them. Yeah, if you could explain exactly what you mean when you say when researching your bride. My guess is you're talking about researching who your target market is, who your ideal client is. But maybe you can clarify. Chelsea, thanks for asking a question, girl. Same with you, Christy. Chelsea says, sometimes hard to transition from getting started then switching to charging people. Chelsea, that's a fallacy. I think that is. I think that's a lie that we believe, that if I start something and I don't charge, that's all in your own head. Like, let's just be real. It is. It's all in your own head. To not charge and then to change and to flip a switch and to start charging. Like, it just is. It's a belief that you have. It's an insecurity that you're afraid of letting someone down. You're afraid of disappointing somebody else. And in all reality, it's totally fair. It's expected, right? Like you were giving a gift prior, right, to not charge, and now things have changed. And so get over this thought in your head that that you suddenly can't charge or you can't increase your prices. Like, hell yes, you can increase your prices. Hell yes, you can start charging more. Like, this is actually a career, and that's if this is a career. If this is a hobby, then we're probably having a different conversation. But if this is like a job, if this is a career, if this is what you're moving towards, stop believing this thought that you can't start increasing your prices once you've set them, or you can't go from offering a free session because you literally have nothing to start charging. The problem isn't your clients. The problem isn't them. The problem's all up here. Let's keep going. Okay, Christy. Christy says, for people you are trying to reach for marketing. Target audience. Okay, cool. Christy, thanks so much. So, okay, let me ask your question out loud for everyone. Christy says, when researching for your ideal client, your target market, where is your starting point to search the venues in your area? So actually, okay, great question. Do you use Facebook? Do you use Google to search for them? Christy, when trying to identify my target audience, the target market that I want to be reaching, the very first question is you have to start with yourself. You have to start with, like, who do you want to shoot? What makes you happy? What do you want to shoot, right? Like, what kind of weddings do you want to do? That's step one. Step one is actually identify what it is that you want to do for the rest of your life. Or maybe that's like too big. Maybe that's like, overwhelming. What do you want to do next year? Like, do you want to be shooting like nice eclectic weddings that are elopements? Do you want to be shooting destination? Do you want to be shooting I don't know, like what do you want to shoot? Do you want to be shooting lifestyle clients in the home, or do you want to be shooting babies in a basket? And I don't say that as a criticism, just like, the more like pose kind of stuff. And so step one is identify what makes you happy and what do you want to actually shoot. So that's step one. From there, I think step two ends up, I guess it just depends on who that is then, but start to identify, so step one, what makes you happy? Who do you actually want to shoot? Step two then is, what do you specifically, like you, Christy, what do you offer to benefit them? Like, not the actual, like, I take pictures, but what is the benefit that you offer, right? What's your meaningful difference? How can you serve that client better than anybody else? Okay, so start to identify that. And as you're doing this, like, brainstorm, just like write stuff down, like left, right, center, everything. And then start actually do some research in terms of, like, as you identify that person, create like an avatar, like literally like write out, like, what does this person look like? Like, what's her name? What's their age? Where do they work? What kind of music do they listen to? What kind of magazines? And it might start with just like, this is, again, identifying who it is that you want to serve, what makes you happy, that type of thing. Start actually like to paint a very visual picture of who this person is. And then from there, I bet people are going to start coming to mind. I bet you're going to have friends, you're going to have family, they're going to start coming to mind in terms of that. Then go on their Facebook page, like, or go pick up the phone and like talk to that person, ask them, more about that. I bet from there, you could do some Googling, right? If you start to identify the certain keywords around your person, maybe you add in, wedding photography or bride, and then you add in those keywords and see what blogs come up. I bet there's a dedicated blog for that particular type of bride. And then just keep digging. But I think the biggest step is understanding who it is that you want to serve first. That's step one. And then once you get down to there, like, I think the venue stuff comes later, like actually figuring out the venues. But it's very real. I think that certain brides are attracted to certain venues. And so, and venues are such a hot point for wedding photography, for photographers to be able to market towards that venue. And so, Yeah, go from there. My good friend Jared Jacobus is a rock star at this, and so I'd love to have Jared actually on to talk more about this in terms of identifying your target market, because I don't want to do you guys a disservice by giving you a half-assed answer. But Jared Jacobus, he is a marketer. He has his own marketing company called Transistor, and I'd love to have him on. And so I'll give Jared a call here after this, and we'll see if we can get Jared on to help serve you guys better. Okay, cool. Chelsea, by the way, Chelsea, thank you, girl. I know that your question, Chelsea's the one who I went off on in regards to the difficulty of transitioning from free to charging. Chelsea, I wasn't going hard on you there, but I just think that I want to encourage you that it's a lie that we believe as photographers, and you will always have that person. You will always have that lead. You will always have that past client who is going to complain, right? But you know how I think about complaining, when people complain, there's very I have all kinds of thoughts to them. I'll just leave it at that. No, but let those people go. Let them go. It's okay. You can't make everyone happy. And the reality is, as you continue to grow your business and charge more money and level up, your audience will change and your client base will change, and you're going to be leaving people behind, and it's okay. I want to tell you that, don't be afraid of letting those people go. All right. That's my advice to you, is don't be afraid of letting those people go, and just keep moving forward. It's not a bad thing. All right, cool. Scott, how do you do off-camera flash at a reception with two photographers? Do you both have your own lights on a stand, or do you both use the same lights? Scott, really great question. That is a question that it depends on so many things. Depends on your skill level of your second shooter. Depends on the venue. A lot of times what I actually prefer to do is whenever we attend a wedding, by the way, we do have enough light setups for two photographers to do their own full off-camera lighting setup. But a lot of times I like to do all the crazy off-camera lighting stuff, and I have my second shooter usually will just either use maybe just a backlight and a bounce, or maybe they'll just do a fill light. Maybe it'll just be a bounce. And so I just to give a different quality look kind of to the image, and maybe in case I'm trying to do something risky and I fail, that they could save the day with a nice safe shot, like I was talking about how second shooters are so good at. So I think that would be how we would do it. If you were to do the two everyone is on their own off-camera lighting setup, a lot of times I'll do is I'll have a single backlight. And this is going to be really tricky to talk about here because it's going to be like diagrams and stuff, but I have a single backlight. You could use a young low flash. We'll talk about young lows because I think Canon can use them and Nikon. So you have a young low flash as a backlight that both cameras are wirelessly triggering, right? They're both synced up on the same channel to fire that one light. As long as you both don't go crazy and start rattling off, it'll be okay. So one backlight, and then if you're going to bounce on camera, you would each have your own flash that would bounce. What I prefer to do is have a light on a stick as my fill light, and then you'd each essentially have a light on a stick as a fill light on kind of different channels there. So that's an option, but that's going to be super technical, and I'd have to that's like a blog post answer for you, my man. Jake, what's up, Jake? How's it going, dude? Okay, cool. More questions. Keep bringing them in. I'm going to go back to the ones that hit my inbox here, and we're going to keep going down that route. Side note, you guys, a couple of the things that I'm up to today as I let more people come on in. I'm actually getting ready I've got to go drop off a photo booth. So I have a photo booth from the Photo Booth Supply Company, and I freaking love it. I love it because as an entrepreneur, as a photographer, I'm all about diversifying your income when things get maybe tight, or you have an off month, or you get into December, January, holiday season. I really like having a photo booth to get out there and just diversify your income, like I just said. So we have an event going on today, which I'm super excited about. It's a marathon event, and so we're going to drop the photo booth off at that, and it's really cool. If you want to check it out, I've got a whole blog post that I did about our photo booth and how it has helped us as a business, and also my idea behind it, because I don't treat it like wedding photography. I see too many wedding photographers who have a photo booth that stress out so much about their photo booth. You guys, the amount of photo booth events I do, I only will show up if it's an emergency, if I can't find someone else to do it. But 9.9 times out of 10, I'm having a college student go run the booth, right? And I want them to run it right. I teach them to run it right, and 9.9 times out of 10, they run it right. But if things mess up, I'm not going to worry about it, right? That's how that'd be. I only bring that up because if you're going to start pursuing it, don't email and be like, Ben, this is such a headache, because that's on you. You know what I mean? Like treat it as a commodity and as an opportunity to kind of diversify your income, and I think you'll be in good shape. So anyhow, I love my photo booth. Photo booth supply company is where I got it from, and I got a whole article on it. So anyhow, that's just like an aside. That's what I'm going to do after I leave you guys here for Q&A Friday. Drop that off. Okay, sweet. Jacob says, hey, quick question. I'm about to head out onto a shoot. Good for you, man. That's awesome. You guys should all be out on shoots, too. Don't be listening to me. All right. I was wondering about what do you use for packaging? Like, what do you put your prints and albums in? Hey, great question, Jacob. To be honest, we do drop shipping. So when I say drop shipping, all that means is we order our product from our print lab, and they will directly drop it off to our client. And so we do that for a couple reasons. One is because we can do packaging with the actual labs. You can actually choose an option. So with Miller's, right? So you can choose an option to have something arrive in certain packaging. I also do it because I know that Miller's is going to freaking slay at the quality. I don't need to quality control check it all because it's going to look good. I know long enough in at this point it's going to look good. And if there's any problem, that we'll solve it. Check out the beat, let the DJ revolve it. What's that line? Anyhow, I just started Ice Ice Baby. Okay, so yeah, that's it. I mean, to be honest, we have so many brides, and so for me, it's just that it's another point that I was able to essentially delegate. That's the way I view it. I view it as delegating. So we don't have to receive a package to our studio, pay for shipping to us, open it up, rebox it up, and then ship it again. It's like another step. And it's just, I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses. This comes down to that. Here's the deal. If you can, if it is in your strength to do some of those little nitty gritty things and the little details and the packaging, the post office trips, like by all means do it, because I think that there's great benefit to doing it. I know my strengths and I know my weaknesses, and I know when I think about going to the post office, I'd rather stab myself in the arm than go to the post office, right? I know when I think about having to go buy bubble wrap from fucking Office Depot, that I think I would rather clip off just a little tip of my finger every single time. And so I recognize my strengths and weaknesses, you guys, and I'm going to play to it. And so I think if it's in your strength to do that, and you love making the little notes and all that stuff, and like the little ribbon that you could tie in as an extra thing, go for it and do it. I think there's great value to be given to your clients. I would much rather pay someone to do that on my behalf. So that's my answer, Jacob. Great question, my man. Okay, cool. Jake, I inboxes a question. What does that mean? Oh, maybe you inboxed a question? Actually arriving at venue in 30 minutes, so I missed your reply. I'll check it out this evening. Oh, it's in my inbox. Well, Jake, let me go check. Jake, why didn't you just freaking write it live right now on Facebook? Why did you have to go and email it to me privately? Okay, cool. Let's keep going. I'm going to go to other questions while I look for that if it came through. Okay, sweet. Here's a question that says, okay, I'm currently trying to wrap my head around trying to find time to actually practice getting better at my skill without taking risks and wasting time doing it on an actual shoot. He specifically said wedding day, so on an actual shoot. He goes on to explain, I work 40 hours, have a 15-hour commute total throughout the week, weddings on the weekend, editing, 15 minutes before the wife. Dude, and then you add on top of that, for many of you out there, trying to spend time with your kids, and then volleyball and soccer and badminton, and then you got the bowling practice. So I get it, man. You're busy. I get it. You're busy, and you're trying to figure out how do you find time to practice. My first advice is this. My first advice is to narrow down the focus of what you're trying to practice, because the whole photography industry, there's so much equipment, there's so much gear, and every time you think that you have enough, there's another B&H email that arrives to your inbox and says look at what Jerry Gahonis just came up with next, right? And or Westcott, do you know what I mean? There's always the next thing. And so my advice is stop thinking about the next thing. Stop worrying about photographers. We've existed for however long and have been just fine with our 35, right? And so my encouragement is to narrow down what you're going to focus on really getting great at. and don't worry about anything else. And so like that's something that we've been doing as a studio. We've really been working towards focusing in on the lens choice. We're not arriving on a wedding day with all these lights and all this gear and all this stuff. And so like just start with a 35, man. Focus on just a 35. Ignore everything else and just get really good at a 35. Shoot everything with that 35, right? Or a 50 or an 85, whatever it may be. And I think honestly that's probably will solve a lot of your problems if you stop thinking about I've got to learn this, I got to figure out this, I got to play with this next toy, and really understand that the tool that you have you currently don't know how to master. You currently don't know everything that it can do. And so narrow in and focus in on that one lens, and that the other part of the equation then is I mean, I get that you work 40 hours a week, and I get that you've got a wife and that you drive a lot, and then you're doing weddings on the weekend. And this is less of this type of a question about like practice, but like if this is it, if I say this all the time, if this is your dream job, if you want to go full time with this eventually, like if this is what makes you happy, then stay up an extra half hour and mess around with your 50, mess around with an off-camera lighting, like stay up an extra 45 minutes, get up early, get up at sunrise, get up 45 minutes early. Dude, if you got up even a half hour early every day, right? That's 37, 2.5 hours, if I think I did my math right. 2.5 hours, right? That you could have spent learning a new piece of gear. And so I get that time is an issue with everyone, right? But if you really want it, get up 30 minutes early. If you really want it, stay up 30 minutes late, right? Whatever. And it doesn't matter if it's early or late, like do you, but like, I can only handle the time excuse, so much, right? It's like make time. I bet there's things that you could cut out. I guarantee there's things you could cut out, right? And maybe it's Netflix, maybe it's the football on Sunday, maybe it's the YouTube videos at work, maybe it's Facebook, maybe it's iPhone games. I don't know, but I bet there's things that you could cut out if this is what really makes you happy or what makes you money too, right? Okay, cool. Let's keep going. How's everyone doing out there? Okay, cool. This is a really specific question that I got. So I did a blog post about group shots, lighting group shots, how we photograph group shots on a wedding day. And Jim wrote to me this. Jim wrote, why do you use such high ISO when photographing group shots? So let me go to the blog post and we're going to take a look at my ISO settings that I recommended because I bet it's going to be 3200 is going to be my guess in certain situations, putting it up to there. But anyhow, so he says, why do you recommend using such high ISO when using group shots? Do you not get a lot of noise? Do your clients ever order group shots larger than 8x10? How many megapixels is your sensor? Does it have good dynamic range? Your online samples look good, but then again, they're online. Everything looks good online. There you go. So let's go back, and I'm gonna give you guys the exact number, by the way, in terms of okay, here we go. No, lighting gear. Wait for it. So I'm going online. I want to figure out the exact ISO setting that he's referring to. As we're talking about that, let me begin by answering this question. Specifically, I'm shooting on a 5D Mark III currently. I don't know how many megapixels the sensor is. I don't really care. So yeah, I don't know about that. I don't know about the dynamic range of the 5D Mark III. And so, yeah. In terms of ISO, look, if you're outside, clearly bring the ISO down as low as you can, right? And I talk about that in the post. But when you're inside, oh, dude, 1600 ISO, bruh. Like all day. Dude, okay, so let me go off on a rant like, dude, 1600 ISO. It's 2016. Do you realize that I could put my like Sony A7S II up to like 125,000 ISO, like 500,000 ISO, and be A-okay? The other thing is, I think that so often we as photographers get so caught up in the shit that doesn't matter. We're worried about posting a picture on Facebook and the way that Facebook degrades the quality, and we want to take it down, or we feel the need to write a caption that says like, hey guys, this picture looked way better on my camera than it does on Facebook. No one cares. Like nobody sees that stuff. Like there's so many other things to be worrying about than 1600 ISO all day. You could do that all day and you're going to be just fine, especially with some like the basic noise removal, like in Lightroom, even if you need that, right? If you need that. I'm talking about 1600 ISO, by the way, for the back ambient light to be one stop underexposed, and then obviously using a fill flash in to light your subject. That's also a huge difference when we were talking about the technique behind 1600 ISO. But I guess I think the question is one that there's way too many other things to be worrying about that we're doing wrong in regards to the way that we treat our clients, in regards to like composition and posing and like any of that kind of stuff, or like light, for crying out loud. To just talk about like ISO and pixels and noise just gets it doesn't really get us very far. So anyhow, that's my answer to that. But dude, for real, 600 ISO is really low, especially now. Like I'm on the 5D Mark III, dude. 5D Mark IV, like whatever, like it's whatever. It really is. Okay, that's my answer. Okay, thanks though for asking the question. I love it. Okay, cool. Samto, this may be the last question of the day, you guys. Samto says, I struggle with pricing as every client wants me to give a discount. Right. Also, I didn't like learn how to negotiate my bookings and avoid pricing myself cheap just so that I'm booked. I'm not sure what he means by the second part, but let's talk about the first part. He says this. He says, I struggle with pricing because everyone wants a discount. This actually gets back to the question that I think it was Chelsea. Yeah, Chelsea was talking about in regards to clients wanting like to go rather from free when you're just starting out to now suddenly charging, or when you start charging, you start increasing your prices. Like everyone wants a discount. Everyone's like, well, hey, like last time it was only $500 and now it's $700. What gives, bruh? And so everyone wants a discount. Here's the deal. I don't always give discounts. Actually, I don't ever give discounts. But what I do is when someone asks for a discount, if I actually want them, if this is an ideal client, if this is someone that I really want to shoot and I want to make sure that this happens, I won't concede to a discount. Instead of decreasing my price, I will increase my value offered. Does that make sense, Samto? So the answer to your question is when someone says, hey, man, $3,000, how about 25? I'd be like, look, my prices are 3,000 for a reason. Like it's in order for me to supply like to the quality that I do. I really want to be part of your wedding or your event or whatever it may be. What I'd like to do is I know how much you valued the digital files. I know how much you valued an engagement session. I know how much you valued having a little bit more time on the day. I would like to offer that to you as a gift. If you were to like add it on, it'd be like another $1,000 or however much, I don't know how much, like another 500, whatever it would be for you. But that's what I'd like to do. You guys don't decrease your prices on the fly like that. Instead, if you really want someone, offer more value. That's my advice. Offer more value. When you say like, yeah, sure, 20, yeah, we can go 500 off for you. Let's do that. You're shooting yourself in the foot. You're admitting to the fact that like you weren't ever worth that 3,000 that you were trying to charge up front. It's like saying like, yep, caught me. All right, cool. I'll do 25. You caught me. Good job. Good for you, man. And I'm not willing to play that game. I'm not willing to submit to that fact. Like I fully believe that when you put a price on your work, that you should stand behind that. Stand behind that price, and instead of bringing the quality of your brand down, right? Instead, elevate it. Instead, say, look, I can't move. I can't move on my price, but I really freaking like you, and I want to try to make this work. Is like, what if I know how much you value this? What if I include this in at this value? Normally it's only in this package or this package. You'd have to add it on for X amount. I just want to give it to you as a gift to see if that makes it better for us. Let me know. And you know what? If they walk, they walk. And I guess Samto, like if this keeps happening like over and over and over, and you're not getting any bookings, right? If you can't get booked up at all without going down, then maybe you've priced yourself out. Maybe what you're charging too much and delivering too little value. And so maybe you need to reevaluate, not necessarily bringing your prices overall down, but maybe you need to evaluate how come your clients aren't getting enough value, or how come they're not seeing it. And so how do you get them to see that value, or what do you need to do to increase the value of your offer for them to stop asking that question? So there you go. that's the answer to that question, you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today on Q&A Friday. I do appreciate it. You guys, I guess that's about it. I'm going to go drop off this photo booth to my attendant. He's going to rock this marathon event tonight. And again, you guys, if you find value in this, would you share it? I would love that. Would you share this out to the community? I think that would be so rad. I just would. I really appreciate spending time getting a chance to answer your guys' questions, to field them as best as I can. I'm going to be heading out to United, show at United here in November, early November, November 4th, or no, 6th. So I'm getting ready to do that. While I'm at United, I'm going to be doing an extra class the day after United, okay? It's on the 9th, November 9th. And so if you're in the area, Arizona, I'm going to be doing an entire class on album sales, on how to master album sales, how to sell them step by step. We're going to do a live actual album sales session there for you guys. And so if you're around, private message me, and I would love to get you information on that. But in the meantime, if you're at United, I hope you're there. Come say hi. Like, I would love to meet you. I'd love to grab a drink. You guys, we'll see you on Monday, episode 70. Whew. Thanks, everyone. Cheers.